Hi, I'm Charles with AniCap. Previously, a girl named Zaya stumbled onto the mysterious RAK5HA Street where she would need to be rescued by a guy named Yanchao. RAK5HA Street is a place for holding spirits of the dead, and Yanchao is its guardian. In his past, we see that his brother had his memories erased by an evil man, leaving only murderous intent in his heart. The story continues by showing the distant past. A very young Liang is told by Yujin that the box he carries seals the world's most terrible power, and in order to free the power, a life must be given in exchange. The story then continues after Liang has lost his memory, and Yanchao explains that they are brothers. Liang struggles to control his body, and Yanchao explains that no matter how much Liang thinks he hates him, they are still family. He tries to remind him of their journey up to that point, but his efforts are wasted as his brother still can't remember. Yanchao seems to be getting through to him when they hold hands, and Liang calls him brother for the first time in a long while. However, General Lu forces Liang's arm into plunging the knife into his brother and congratulates him on finally killing a spirit host. Liang's mind can't remember a thing, but his heart still hurts for some reason. His brother assures him that it wasn't his fault and asks that he be brave. Liang desperately searches for his brother in his memories but only finds that he is alone there with not a single thing from his past. However, just then he begins to hear his mother's voice as she sings the lullaby from his childhood. After a moment, his memory returns, but only to find his brother dying in his arms. With his last words, he apologizes for not protecting him and for not being a good big brother. He wishes that he would be the big brother instead in their next life and passes away. The boy sobs uncontrollably for his dead brother, but Lu becomes enraged and attempts to strike him. His attack is strangely stopped though, and Lu wonders how the child who has never had any psychic power could push him back like he did. Yujin now realizes that the problem wasn't that the boy didn't have any power. He in fact is just a rare type of spirit host that has what is called a warrior body. This means, unlike all the other spirit hosts that can only ever have one guardian, this boy is able to summon multiple as long as he has enough psychic power. Yujin's master has died, so Lu wonders why he hasn't died yet. Yujin explains that he has already died once before and has now failed to protect his master, but vows not to let the same fate befall his brother. Yujin releases the terrible power from his box and sacrifices his remaining life to remove the seal on the weapon called the Chow's Hollow. The seal is broken and fallen generals from the past emerge from the hollow. Yujin explains that he has finally found the descendant of the Chow family with the warrior body, and Zucho appears to explain that he will be the one to follow him. The generals are hesitant to accept the boy as he is too young, but Yujin explains that he has watched him grow up over several years and believes he has the potential to become a great hero. Yujin has no life left and asks that they protect the boy. Zucho respects his sacrifice and the generals decide to go with the boy but warn that they will turn on him if he ever goes astray. The boy then gains immense power and Zucho becomes his guardian. It is at this moment when it finally becomes clear that the younger brother had actually been Yanchao all along. With Liang's body aside, Yanchao easily avoids yanking his attack and releases his anger on Lu. Back to the present, a group watch from a distance the strange happenings in RAK5HA Street and wonder if another war is coming. The constables are watching as well. They determine that the destruction of the sacred pagoda tree will bring utter chaos to the spirit realm and determine that it's time for the Heroes Hall to do something. Spirits continue to be sucked into the portal and Liang apologizes to Zaya for not revealing his secret to her sooner. The truth is that he had been a spirit all along. Zaya says it doesn't matter though. She promises to help him from being taken away and hopes that Yanchao will come to save the day like he always does. Yanchao has his hands full with the constantly healing beast and prepares a powerful attack from his cannon. However, he is confused to see that the creature has disappeared. Yanchao determines that space has become twisted, causing the borders between realms to become distorted. He realizes that this makes getting back home almost impossible and hopes that Liang is safe. Liang is holding on the best he can and Zaya's guardian continues rampaging out of control. Liang points out how bleak the situation really is and that all hope is lost even if his brother is able to return. Zaya begins to lose her grip and eventually is tripped into stumbling. Just then, we see that Yanchao is portaled to a place where he finds Gaifu's body and determines that he has actually been dead for several months. His message explains that he was ambushed and warns that the Kingdom organization is not the only secret force threatening the world. Yanchao rushes into another portal and we see that Zaya is still holding on to Liang with everything she has. She refuses to let him go, but Lu explains he has no use for the child and forces her to release him. Just then, Yanchao finally returns and rescues Liang just in time. He then holds his brother tightly and promises to never let him die again. Kemp states that the fight isn't over and Liang explains how Zaya had no other choice but to eat the pagoda tree's bark. Yanchao isn't interested in hearing her apology and approaches Kemp as he explains that he will not take his threats lightly. Kemp is determined to show Yanchao the power of a high-level spirit host and reveals that the three-headed beast is his guardian when he combines with it. Yanchao isn't very impressed and the two begin to fight. Zucho is instructed to hold out the rampaging guardian and Zaya asks that he not be too harsh on it since she is its master. Kemp actually proves to be quite the powerful opponent as he lands a powerful blow, and now he is the one that is unimpressed with Yanchao. However, the dust clears and everyone is shocked to see Yanchao's unhidden weapon. He warns Kemp to not look down on him and promises to make him pay for his arrogance. Yanchao is pleased to see how surprised everyone is as he finally reveals his second guardian, and Kemp realizes that he must be the legendary warrior body. However, Yanchao explains that he only summoned him to help Zucho, that way he can actually start focusing on their fight. Kemp is eventually forced to separate from his guardian in an attempt to sacrifice it to save himself, and Yanchao takes great enjoyment in the fear coming from Kemp's eyes. Yanchao explains that he has one more secret though, and reveals that he actually has 7 guardians just like the 2 he has summoned. Kemp realizes he is far outmatched and makes a run for it while claiming to come back for revenge. Yanchao decides to let him go since he has nearly reached his limit, and Liang realizes they will be in great danger if they don't stop the rampaging guardian before then. However, in this dire moment, Yanchao is shocked to see that the man pretending to be Gaifu has just arrived. The man instantly summons a guardian that seals the portal and finally puts an end to the chaos. Yanchao must explain that this man is actually the person that killed the real Gaifu, and the man explains that he has already gotten what he wanted. Yanchao realizes that his plan was to have Zaya's guardian destroy the pagoda tree from the beginning, and assumes he must be part of the kingdom organization. The man says that Yanchao's world is too small. He reveals that he is not part of the organization and states that the constables actually have several enemies. He does reveal though that the pagoda tree can be repaired, but someone would have to visit all the Requiem streets to collect parts from other sacred trees to do it. Yanchao doesn't just want to let him leave, but he has lost too much power, and Zaya's guardian is still a threat. However, day breaks and the guardian is free of its curse, finally allowing Yanchao to relax. Zaya approaches her guardian, who explains that she looks just like someone from his past, and reveals that he no longer has the ability to make the elixir of reviving because he had given it to someone long ago. Fake Gaifu leaves, and Yanchao can't believe how much of a waste of time it had all been. Zaya apologizes, but Liang explains that everything worked out since the Kingdom organization has no reason to come after her anymore, and she can go back to living a normal life. She doesn't want to go back though, and has decided that she must be the one to repair the sacred pagoda tree. Zaya's guardian promises to protect her forever, and formally introduces himself as Yuan. That night, Yanchao can't believe Zaya is planning to go alone, and Liang explains that being a spirit won't allow him to go, but tells Yanchao that there is nothing stopping him from going. Furthermore, Liang states that protecting RAK5HA Street has always been his responsibility, but Yanchao refuses to be separated from his brother again. A look back after Liang's death shows how Yanchao unleashed a merciless beating on Lu. The one-sided fight would eventually lead them both to the prison where several tormented spirits were held captive by Lu, and he would set them free in the hopes that they would take care of Yanchao. They would both end up being attacked, but Yanchao's release of power would set them free, and we see that Yang King has decided his master should flee. Lu doesn't want to run away though, and we see that Zucho wasn't going to let them anyway. They attempt to fight him, but Zucho warns that they will only end up being defeated if they try. Lu urges Yang King to continue fighting and reminds him that they have an entire army behind them. However, he is shocked to see that his soldiers recognize he is finally losing control and want to take the opportunity to get revenge for all the torment. Yang King's loyalty to his master is unwavering though, and he pushes himself to protect Lu. This would prove to be very costly though, as Yang King begins to disappear after using all his psychic power, and Zucho explains that Lu was never worthy of having the loyal Yang King as his guardian. Lu begins to descend into madness after losing his lifelong companion, and Yanchao arrives before Zucho can deal the final blow. Yanchao sends him off to the human world and explains that he spared his life so he will have more time to atone for his sins. Lu would attempt to command respect in the human world, but he is only deemed to be insane. Yanchao explains that was the day he learned that in order to fear no one, he needed to become the one that was feared most. Liang again recommends that he go with Zaya and agrees with the fake Gaifu that their world is too small. Liang is a spirit host and cannot leave RAK5HA Street. Yanchao is not confined there though, and Liang wants him to explore the world. The next day, Zaya laments how she must go to all the Requiem streets on foot, and Yanchao explains that it is the only way to do it without getting lost. Yanchao has on psychic armor that is created by guardians and used to keep a spirit host from being detected in other Requiem streets. Zaya realizes this means Yanchao is coming with her, and he instructs her to have Yuan make armor for her as well. While nearly exposing Zaya's body, Yuan successfully makes her armor, and the two embark on their journey. The brothers begin to say their goodbye, and we get another glimpse into the past. Yanchao had waited for 7 days straight after his brother's death. Requiem streets are places that hold spirits of the dead, and he was confident his brother would come there. He instructs Ucho to shatter the intrusive fake Gaifu, but he was sent there by the spirit realm to bring Liang back, and Yanchao is reunited with the spirit of his brother. Fake Gaifu explains that the spirit realm wants Yanchao to go through training on Death Island, so that he could become the general of RAK5HA Street, and he agreed. In present time, Yanchao gives his brother the symbol of a Requiem general, even though it's against the rules, and proclaims that Liang is now the general of RAK5HA Street. Yanchao has a difficult time leaving Liang just as he did when he was a child, and we have one final look into their past. Yanchao had returned from training on Death Island, and unlike Liang, had grown older and taller. Liang then realizes that his wish for Yanchao to become the big brother had come true, and they begin plans to bring RAK5HA Street back to its former glory. In the present though, the two brothers finally say goodbye and are separated once again. Elsewhere, Kemp is relieved to have gotten away while also discovering who the third warrior body is. We simultaneously see that Zaya understands part of their journey will be hunting down the man that killed Yanchao's parents. Yanchao explains that the criminal has several scars around his lips and was recognized as the mightiest Requiem general of the last generation. Fake Gaifu removes his disguise and reveals to us that he had actually always been the most wanted criminal, Long Do. Kemp prepares for a fight to the death, but Long Do explains that there will be no fight, only an execution. He summons a different guardian from the one we saw before, and it takes care of Kemp instantly. Long Do expresses how glad he is that Yanchao was able to be so powerful without even realizing his full potential yet. Long Do's followers explain that Gaifu's body has been found by the constables, but it doesn't matter since he has already achieved his goal. They worry that Yanchao won't want to serve him and recommend that they execute him too. However, Long Do explains that he wants to see Yanchao reach his full potential as a warrior body, but will fight him to the death if he ever deems it necessary. Long Do predicts that havoc is still coming and many heroes will be forced to the front of the battle. No matter how uncertain the future is though, Long Do promises to see Yanchao once again. Thanks for watching part 8, 10,000 likes and I'll make part 9.